One of the biggest talking points around Rangers right now is Voslav Cerny. The Czech winger has taken Scottish football by storm this season and quickly become one of the most influential players in the Rangers squad. His form has been so impressive that he was recently called up to the Czech national team, a recognition that highlights just how far he's come in such a short time at Ibrox. But despite everything he's contributed, the buzz around him is not just about his performances. It's also about what comes next. Because unless something drastic happens, Cerny is expected to return to Wolfsburg at the end of the season, with Rangers struggling to afford a permanent deal. This is where things get tricky. The deal that brought Cerny to Glasgow last summer was a loan, and as part of that agreement, Rangers were given the chance to sign him permanently for a set fee of around £5.5 million. Not a small amount by Scottish football standards, but certainly reasonable for a player of his caliber. However, there's a catch. This option doesn't stay open forever. Sources close to the club have revealed that the clock is ticking, and Rangers have a limited window to activate that clause. If they miss it, that fee disappears, and Cerny's value is expected to skyrocket. With clubs across Europe already circling and keeping a close eye on his situation, the fear is that Rangers may soon find themselves priced out of any potential deal. And let's be honest, the interest is totally justified. Cerny has been electric. Since the very start of the season, he's shown adaptability, work rate, and that extra spark that can turn a tight game on his head. Under interim manager Barry, Ferguson Cerny has been deployed in a more central attacking role, and that shift has taken his game to an entirely new level. The stats speak for themselves: 17 goals and 7 assists in just 44 appearances across all competitions. That's not just good, that's elite production, especially for a player who was initially brought in on loan and had to adjust to a completely new league. And his form hasn't been limited to domestic football. Cerny has carried his brilliance to the international stage too. Just a few days ago, he scored a stunning long-range goal for the Czech Republic in a World Cup qualifier against Gibraltar. Not only did he find the back of the net, but he also walked away with a man of the match award. It was a performance that made headlines back in his homeland and only served to raise his stock even further across the European market. Back in Glasgow, the fans have fallen in love with him. There's a clear connection between Cerny and the Ibrox faithful. His attitude, his energy, the way he celebrates every goal, like it means the world to him, it's exactly what supporters want to see. And he's made it clear that he wants to stay. In a recent interview back home, he was asked directly if he'd like to continue at Rangers beyond this season. His answer was straightforward. "I definitely do," he said, "but there are so many aspects I can't control. All I can do is give my best and keep my numbers up for Rangers." It's a message filled with hope and realism, and it shows just how much he's enjoying his time in Scotland. But now the pressure is on. With Rangers' season nearing its conclusion and the takeover process still in motion, decisions need to be made, and fast. The club's new ownership group, led by American businessman Andrew Kavanagh and based in San Francisco, is still waiting on legal confirmation to finalize the multi-million-pound deal. That delay could be costly. If Rangers don't move quickly, to lock down Cerny's future, Wolfsburg is expected to start listening to offers from other clubs. And once that door opens, the competition could be fierce. We're talking about a player who's just entering his prime, who's proven he can deliver on big occasions, and who's now drawing attention from scouts in Germany, Italy, and the English Premier League. This situation has put the spotlight back on Rangers' recruitment and financial strategy. Can the club really afford to let a player like this slip through their fingers? If the board is serious about competing on all fronts next season, keeping Cerny should be a top priority. He's not just a short-term solution, he's a potential cornerstone for the future. But that kind of ambition comes with a price tag, and so far the signs suggest that Rangers may not be ready to pay it. At the same time, Barry Ferguson's impact can't be overlooked. Since stepping in as interim manager following the dismissal of Philippe, Clement Ferguson has injected new life into the squad. His first match in charge was a 42 away win at Kilmarnock, a tough place for any team to go, and aside from a narrow loss at home to Motherwell, his record has been strong. He guided the team to a memorable 32 victory over Celtic at Parkhead and led them into the quarterfinals of the Europa League, proving he knows how to manage in high-pressure situations. Former Rangers right back Maurice Ross commented recently, that Ferguson was exactly what the club needed at this moment. According to him, the atmosphere at Ibrox was turning sour before Barry came in, with fans starting to lose faith and the overall mood on a downturn. But Ferguson brought belief back. Ross described it as a moment of buy-in between fans and the club, a reconnection that had been missing. He went on to say that while no one knows for sure who the next permanent manager will be, Ferguson has done everything right so far. The vibe is better, the energy is back, and the squad seems to be playing with pride again. But here's where the two stories connect. Ferguson's success and Cerny's future are both tied to the same critical window. With the end of the season approaching and decisions looming on ownership, management, and the playing squad, Rangers are facing one of their most important off-seasons in years. The club must act decisively if they want to keep building momentum, and securing Cerny's signature permanently would send a strong message to everyone that Rangers are serious about returning to the top. For now, though, it's a waiting game, a game that fans are watching closely. Because if Rangers can pull this off, if they can lock down a player of Cerny's quality and continue the resurgence under Barry Ferguson, it could mark the beginning of something special at Ibrox. But Cerny is not the only name lighting up conversations around Ibrox right now. Another major figure in the Rangers setup drawing significant attention is Nicolas Raskin. The Belgian midfielder has been nothing short of exceptional since his arrival from Standard Liège in early 2023. It didn't take him long to settle into the team, and while his first few months were solid, it's really this current season that has seen him elevate to an entirely new level. He's now being talked about as one of the best midfielders in the Scottish Premiership. And that's not just coming from fans. It's a sentiment echoed by scouts and clubs across Europe. Raskin's performances have caught the eyes of clubs in England, Germany, and Italy. Leeds United, fighting for promotion in the Championship, are monitoring him closely. Premier League sides like Aston Villa and Brentford have also sent scouts to watch him live. What they're seeing is a complete midfielder, someone with the ability to dictate tempo break lines with a pass-win duels in midfield and cover an incredible amount of ground over 90 minutes. He's become essential to the way Rangers play, and his contributions are not always measured just in goals and assists, although even in that regard he's stepped up this season. Last season, he finished with 1 goal and 1 assist in 31 appearances. Decent numbers for a player adjusting to a new league and system. But this year, he's already delivered 2 goals and 6 assists across 39 matches in all competitions. What's more important than the numbers, though, is the consistency and maturity he brings in big games. Raskin has shined in some of Rangers' most important fixtures, particularly in Europa League clashes and in domestic battles against Celtic. He's one of those players who doesn't hide when the pressure's on. In fact, he thrives in it. And now he's beginning to make a name for himself on the international stage. During the most recent international break, Raskin was handed his senior debut for the Belgian national team in a UEFA Nations League playoff clash against Ukraine. Initially coming off the bench in a 3-1 loss, it was the second leg that truly showcased his potential. Raskin was given his first full start and produced a performance so commanding that he earned a standing ovation from the home crowd. That moment alone would have been enough to increase his profile dramatically, but the fact that several top-level scouts were in attendance only added fuel to the fire. Since then, the buzz around his name has grown even louder. But here's the crucial point: Rangers are not willing to let him go for cheap. Far from it. With a contract running through the summer of 2027, the club holds all the leverage in negotiations. They've made it clear that any potential transfer fee would need to be significant. Figures being floated are in the £20 million range. And that makes sense. Rangers have long operated under a model of identifying young talent, developing them within the system, and then selling them at the right time for the right price. It's a sustainable approach, and one that has worked in the past. But when you're talking about someone like Raskin, arguably the best midfielder in Scotland right now, the bar for selling needs to be extremely high. Of course, Raskin isn't the only emerging talent within the Rangers squad attracting attention. Another player making waves is striker Hamza Igamani. The young forward recently made his international debut for Morocco, and that in itself was enough to put him on the radar. But it's not just a debut, it's how he's been. Playing at club level that's turned heads, particularly among Premier League scouts. Everton are one of the clubs reportedly keeping a close watch on him, And from what we're hearing, it would take a bid well above £20 million to even bring Rangers to the negotiation table. Egomani represents something that every club is constantly searching for, a striker with physicality, flair, and the instinct to find the back of the net. Still in the early stages of his career, his ceiling is incredibly high, and Rangers are well aware of the potential gold mine they have on their hands. Much like with Raskin, the strategy here is not to sell unless the offer is truly too good to refuse. Both players could become pillars of a new era at Ibrox, and unless the finances dictate otherwise, keeping them would show real ambition from the club's leadership. All of this, Cerny, Raskin, Egomani, feeds into a larger conversation about where Rangers are headed as a club. With new ownership set to take over and Barry Ferguson potentially staking his claim for the permanent managerial role this summer, feels like a pivotal moment. The decisions made in the next few months could define not only next season, but the trajectory of Rangers for years to come. Will the club invest to secure permanent deals for players like Cerny? Will they resist the temptation to cash in on rising stars like Raskin and Egomani? Or will financial realities force their hand? What we do know is that there's a renewed sense of hope among the supporters. After a rocky start to the season and the eventual dismissal of Philippe, Clement Ferguson's arrival seems to have steadied the ship. His leadership, combined with standout performances from key players, has re-energized the squad and brought a bit of swagger back to Ibrox. The fans can feel it. There's pride again. There's belief, but belief needs backing. The ball is now in the court of the board, and the incoming owners, if they want to capitalize on this momentum, they'll need to be bold. They'll need to secure the pieces that are already delivering on the pitch while also adding depth and quality where it's needed. There's no shortcut to building a squad that can consistently compete at the highest level, domestically and in Europe. But with players like Cerny, Raskin, and Egomani in the mix, Rangers already have a strong foundation. The challenge is to keep it intact and build around it. And make no mistake, other clubs are watching. Whether it's from the Premier League, the Bundesliga, or Serie A, Rangers' talent pool is on the radar of Europe's elite. That kind of attention is flattering, but it's also dangerous. It means the club has to be sharper than ever in its planning and execution. It means contracts, negotiations, and future planning need to be handled with precision. One misstep, and you risk losing not just players, but momentum. So as we edge closer to the summer window, the pressure is on. Fans want clarity. Players want direction. And the club needs to act, because this moment right now feels like a turning point. The kind of moment that can lead to a golden era if handled correctly, or spark a rebuild if not. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A recent video from Rangers interim head coach Barry Ferguson has left fans and pundits alike questioning the identity of a player he claims is actively trying to undermine his authority at the club. In a cryptic message that has quickly sparked rumors, Ferguson hinted at internal friction, but stopped short of naming the player responsible. The tension is palpable, as Ferguson's words suggest a deeper issue within the squad, one that may go far beyond the typical coaching challenges. The video, which has now gone viral, shows Ferguson addressing the media after Rangers' latest match. While he kept his tone measured, there was an unmistakable undercurrent of frustration. "There's a player who seems intent on making my job harder," he said. "I'm here to work with everyone, but it's clear that some have their own agendas." The comments sent shockwaves through the Scottish football community, with supporters eager to know who could be causing such disruption within one of the most storied clubs in Scottish football. As fans speculate about which player might be involved, the possibilities are wide open. Is it someone on the fringes of the starting lineup struggling to fit into Ferguson's tactical plans? Or could it be a key player whose recent performances have come under scrutiny? The mystery deepens when considering that Ferguson has a history of being vocal about his expectations, and it's possible that his no-nonsense approach isn't sitting well with certain individuals in the dressing room. Further fueling the intrigue is the fact that Ferguson's comments come at a critical time for Rangers, who are battling for supremacy in the Scottish Premiership. The internal turmoil described by Ferguson could have far-reaching consequences on the club's quest for silverware. With his interim position still in its early days, the question remains, can Ferguson overcome this hidden internal strife, or will it derail his time at the helm? As the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Rangers fans are on edge, waiting for more details. Who is the player behind the alleged sabotage, and what impact will this revelation have on Ferguson's future at the club? All eyes are now on the next press conference, where it's expected that the tension will only rise. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.